Hey, it's Dr. Alan Mandell, and today I want to talk about something that millions of Americans over 60 deal with every single night. And most of them just suffer through it, thinking it's simply part of getting older. You know that feeling. You finally get into bed after a long day. You pull up the covers. You close your eyes. And then it starts. That tingling, that creeping numbness, that burning or buzzing feeling at the bottom of your feet or shooting up through your toes. Some nights it's mild. Other nights it's enough to keep you awake for hours. Maybe you've tried stretching. Maybe you've tried a warm bath. Maybe you've even tried those compression socks. And while those things can help a little, they're not getting to the root of what's happening inside your nerves and your circulation. Well, today, I'm going to share something with you that I wish more doctors talked about openly. We're going to look at 5 remarkable natural oils, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use them on the soles of your feet right before you go to sleep at night. Now, I know that might sound too simple, too easy, but stay with me, because once you understand the science behind why this works and how your feet absorb these compounds directly into your nervous system, you're going to look at your nighttime routine completely differently. These are not miracle cures, but they are real, research-supported tools that work with your body's own healing systems, especially at night when your body is in full repair mode. And many people feel a meaningful difference within the very first week of using them consistently. So let's get into it. Before I show you the 5 oils, I want to make sure you understand something important, because this is what makes this approach so much more effective than just putting oil on your arms or your legs. Your feet are extraordinary. The soles of your feet alone contain more than 7,000 nerve endings. 7,000. That's one of the highest concentrations of nerve receptors anywhere on the human body. In fact, for thousands of years, in reflexology, in traditional Chinese medicine, in Ayurvedic practice, healers have understood that the feet are a direct map to the entire body. Every organ, every gland, every system has a corresponding reflex point right there on the bottom of your foot. But here's the part that's especially relevant for what we're doing today. The skin on the soles of your feet has larger pores than most other areas of your body. And that means that when you apply a therapeutic oil to the bottom of your feet, it gets absorbed faster and deeper than almost anywhere else. Scientists have actually measured how quickly compounds applied to the bottom of the foot reach the bloodstream, and the answer is surprisingly fast, within minutes for many oil constituents. That's why this isn't just a folk remedy. There's legitimate pharmacokinetic science behind transdermal absorption through the plantar surface. That's the bottom of your foot. Now, why at night? During the day, your body is in what we call sympathetic mode. The fight or flight system is partially engaged, managing all the demands of waking life. But when you lie down to sleep, your body shifts into parasympathetic mode, the rest and repair state. In this state, your body actively routes more blood flow, more immune resources, and more cellular repair energy toward damaged tissues, including your peripheral nerves. Your peripheral nerves are the ones that run from your spine down into your legs, feet, and toes. They're the ones responsible for that tingling, that numbness, that burning. And nighttime, when your body is in repair mode, is precisely when those nerves are most receptive to healing support. So when you apply these 5 oils to your feet right before bed, you're essentially delivering therapeutic compounds directly through your foot's highly permeable skin at the exact moment when your body is most ready to use them. That's why this works. That's why the timing matters. Now let's talk about the oils. The first oil on our list is one you've probably heard of, peppermint oil. But I want to tell you something about peppermint that most people don't know, because it goes way beyond just smelling nice. Peppermint oil contains a compound called menthol, and menthol does something very specific inside your nervous system. It activates special receptors in your skin and peripheral nerves called TRPM8 receptors. Now, these receptors are essentially your body's coolness sensors. They're the same receptors that tell your brain when something cold is touching your skin. Here's why that matters for tingling and nerve pain. When menthol activates those TRPM8 receptors, it essentially overrides the abnormal firing signals that are causing your tingling sensation. It's like pressing a reset button on an overactive nerve signal. The menthol says to your nerve, "I've got this, calm down." And that's why so many people feel immediate, noticeable relief within minutes of applying peppermint oil to their feet. But there's more. Peppermint oil also acts as a vasodilator, meaning it widens the small blood vessels near the surface of the skin. This increases local circulation right where you apply it. And better circulation means more oxygen and more nutrients reaching those peripheral nerve fibers that have been struggling. A study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition confirmed peppermint's ability to improve blood flow and oxygenation to tissues, and multiple peer-reviewed papers have confirmed its analgesic, that's pain-relieving properties, when applied topically. How to use it? Mix 3 to 4 drops of peppermint essential oil with 1 tablespoon of a carrier oil. I recommend fractionated coconut oil or sweet almond oil. Apply it to the soles of both feet, focusing especially on the arch and the heel. Use slow, firm, circular strokes with your thumbs for about 60 to 90 seconds per foot. The second oil has been used medicinally for over 5,000 years, and modern science is finally catching up to what ancient healers already knew. I'm talking about frankincense oil, derived from the resin of the boswellia tree. Frankincense contains powerful compounds called boswellic acids, and these compounds are among the most potent natural anti-inflammatory agents we've ever studied. Specifically, they inhibit an enzyme called 5-lipoxygenase, or 5-LOX, which is one of the primary drivers of inflammatory nerve damage. Why does that matter for your tingling feet? Peripheral neuropathy, the technical term for nerve tingling and numbness in the extremities, is almost always accompanied by inflammation around the nerve fibers. That inflammation compresses and irritates the nerve, causing those abnormal signals you feel as tingling, burning, or numbness. Frankincense directly targets that inflammation at the molecular level. And there's something else that makes it remarkable. Preliminary research suggests that frankincense compounds may actually support myelin regeneration. Your myelin sheath is the protective coating that wraps around your nerve fibers, like the plastic insulation around an electrical wire. When that sheath is damaged or degraded, which happens with age, with diabetes, with chronic inflammation, nerve signals become erratic and painful. The idea that a topical oil can support myelin repair is genuinely exciting. Research from institutions including Baylor University has explored frankincense's neuroprotective properties, and the results are promising. How to use it. Mix 3 drops of frankincense essential oil with 1 tablespoon of carrier oil. Apply to the entire sole of the foot, including around the ankle and the lower portion of the Achilles tendon area. Take your time. Frankincense benefits from slow, intentional application. Now, I want you to think about lavender oil differently than you probably do right now. Most people think of it as a sleep aid, something that smells relaxing. And yes, it is wonderful for sleep. But that's actually only part of the story. Lavender essential oil contains 2 primary active compounds, linalool and linaloyl acetate. And these compounds have direct, documented effects on your peripheral nervous system. Studies, including a well-cited paper published in the European Journal of Pharmacology, have shown that linalool acts as a natural analgesic by modulating glutamate receptors in the nervous system. Glutamate is the main excitatory neurotransmitter. In simpler terms, it's the chemical that fires up your nerve signals. When your peripheral nerves are oversensitized, as they are with neuropathy, they're essentially flooded with excessive glutamate activity. Linalool helps calm that hyperactivity. It doesn't numb your nerves, it normalizes them. And here's the bonus that makes lavender especially valuable for this nighttime routine. By simultaneously improving your depth and quality of sleep, lavender oil helps your body spend more time in the restorative sleep stages, particularly deep sleep and REM, when nerve repair and cellular recovery are most active. So lavender is doing double duty, calming your nerves directly while also improving the conditions under which your body heals them overnight. How to use it. Mix 4 drops of lavender essential oil with 1 tablespoon of carrier oil. Apply to the entire sole of the foot, paying special attention to the ball of the foot and the base of each toe. After application, take 3 slow, deep breaths through your nose to let the aromatherapeutic effect begin working simultaneously. This 4th oil is one that many of you may not have heard of, and I think that's a shame, because in the world of natural medicine, helichrysum oil is considered by many practitioners to be the single most powerful essential oil for nerve tissue. Helichrysum italicum, sometimes called the immortelle or everlasting flower, produces an oil so rich in neuroregenerative compounds that it's sometimes referred to as liquid gold for the nervous system. What makes it so special? First, helichrysum is extraordinarily rich in diketones, specifically italidiones, which are compounds that have been shown in cellular research to stimulate nerve regeneration. This means they may actually help rebuild damaged peripheral nerve fibers over time, not just mask the symptoms. Second, helichrysum is one of the highest antioxidant-scoring essential oils ever tested. And this is critical because one of the primary drivers of peripheral nerve damage, especially in aging adults and those with diabetes, is oxidative stress, the accumulation of free radicals that damage nerve cell membranes and mitochondria. Helichrysum's antioxidant compounds help neutralize that cellular damage. Third, helichrysum has demonstrated significant anti-inflammatory activity through multiple pathways, complementing frankincense perfectly when the two are used together. I'll be honest with you, helichrysum is the most expensive oil on this list, but a little goes a very long way. And given what it appears to do for peripheral nerve tissue, I believe it's worth every penny for those who are dealing with persistent neuropathy symptoms. How to use it. Because of its potency and cost, you typically only need 2 drops of helichrysum per tablespoon of carrier oil. Mix it directly into your blend. Apply to the entire sole with particular focus along the inner arch, which reflexology maps to the spine and nervous system. Our fifth and final oil is eucalyptus. And if tingling and numbness in your feet is related to poor circulation, which it very commonly is in adults over 60, then this oil may be one of the most important on this list. The primary active compound in eucalyptus oil is called 1,8-cineol, also known as eucalyptol. And this compound is a remarkably effective circulatory stimulant. When applied topically, 1,8-cineol penetrates the skin and causes the smooth muscle walls of peripheral blood vessels to relax, allowing them to expand and carry more blood to the tissues they serve. More blood flow to the feet means more oxygen delivery, more nutrient delivery, more efficient removal of inflammatory waste products from the tissue around your nerves. All of this directly improves the environment in which your peripheral nerves exist, and a nerve that's well nourished and well oxygenated is a nerve that can function and heal. Research published in the journal Phytomedicine has documented eucalyptus oil's vasodilatory and analgesic effects, and a number of clinical observations support its use in patients with circulation-related nerve complaints. Eucalyptus also creates a gentle warming sensation when applied, which many people with cold, numb feet find immediately comforting. That warmth is not just subjective. It reflects real increases in local skin temperature as blood flow improves. How to use it? Mix 3 drops of eucalyptus essential oil with 1 tablespoon of carrier oil. Apply to the entire foot, soles, top of the foot, and around the ankles. Use longer, sweeping strokes moving upward from toes toward ankle to encourage venous return and lymphatic drainage. Now you have 5 powerful oils, each working through a different mechanism. And the good news is, you don't have to choose between them. You can combine them into one powerful nighttime blend that I like to call the Nerve Rescue Blend. Here's the exact recipe. Nerve Rescue Blend makes enough for 1 application. 2 tablespoons fractionated coconut oil, carrier oil, absorbs cleanly, no greasy residue. 3 drops peppermint oil. 3 drops frankincense oil, 4 drops lavender oil, 2 drops helichrysum oil, 3 drops eucalyptus oil. Mix all ingredients in a small glass bowl or the palm of your hand. Apply immediately. Now let me walk you through the 3-step application technique, because how you apply this matters almost as much as what you're applying. Step 1. The sole sweep. Pour the blend into 1 palm and rub your hands together to warm it slightly. Then use both thumbs to apply firm, slow, circular pressure across the entire sole of 1 foot. Start at the heel, work across the arch, and finish at the ball of the foot. Spend about 60 seconds here. You're warming the skin, opening the pores, and beginning absorption. Then repeat on the other foot. Step 2. The toe pull. Using your thumb and index finger, gently squeeze and pull each toe, starting from the base and slowly releasing at the tip. Do this for each toe on both feet. This helps stimulate the nerve reflex points at the tips of the toes, where tingling is often most intense. Step 3. The ankle circle. Use your fingertips to apply the remaining oil in slow circles around both ankle bones, the medial malleolus on the inside and the lateral malleolus on the outside. There are critical nerve pathways and blood vessels running through this region. Finishing here helps ensure systemic circulation through the entire lower extremity. After application, put on a pair of clean cotton socks immediately. The socks do two things. They prevent the oils from rubbing off onto your sheets, and they create a gentle, occlusive barrier that increases skin absorption overnight. By morning, your skin will have had 8 hours to absorb those therapeutic compounds. For best results, apply the Nerve Rescue Blend every night for 7 consecutive nights. Most people notice a meaningful change in their comfort level somewhere between night 3 and night 7. After your first week, you can maintain with 3 to 4 applications per week. Before I let you go, I want to make sure you don't make these common mistakes, because I've seen them undermine people's results over and over again. Mistake number 1. Using undiluted essential oils directly on skin. Essential oils are highly concentrated plant extracts. Applying them undiluted, what we call neat, can cause skin irritation, redness, or even chemical burns, especially in areas of thinner or more sensitive skin. Always dilute them in a carrier oil as I've shown you. The carrier oil doesn't weaken the effect. It actually helps distribute the oil across a larger surface area and slows evaporation so the skin has more time to absorb the active compounds. Mistake number 2, buying low-quality or synthetic oils. This one is huge. There is a massive difference between a genuine, high-quality, therapeutic-grade essential oil and a cheap fragrance oil that mimics the smell but contains none of the active compounds. When you're shopping, look for oils that are clearly labeled as 100% pure essential oil, that list the botanical name of the plant on the label, and that come from reputable companies with third-party testing. If a 10 milliliter bottle of helichrysum costs $2, it's not real helichrysum. Don't waste your time and money on imitations. Mistake number 3, quitting after 2 nights. I understand. You try it for a night or two, and if you don't feel a dramatic difference, it's tempting to think it's not working. But nerve tissue heals slowly. The peripheral nervous system is not designed for rapid regeneration. Healing happens in layers, over time. The anti-inflammatory effects of these oils build with consistent use. The circulatory improvements compound night after night. Give this a full 7-day trial before you draw any conclusions. Mistake number 4, ignoring the bigger picture. These oils are powerful tools, but they work best as part of a broader approach to nerve health. Staying well hydrated is essential because dehydration worsens nerve conduction. If you have blood sugar concerns, managing your glucose levels is one of the most important things you can do for your peripheral nerves. And gentle daily movement, even just a 15-minute walk, significantly improves circulation to the lower extremities. Think of the oils as one important piece of a complete picture. I want to take a moment here and be very direct with you, because as much as I believe in these natural approaches, I also believe in being honest about their limitations. There are situations where tingling and numbness in your feet require immediate medical attention, not a home remedy. Please see your doctor promptly if your tingling is accompanied by muscle weakness in your feet or legs, difficulty lifting your foot when you walk, stumbling, loss of balance. If your symptoms appeared suddenly and are rapidly spreading, moving from your feet up toward your knees or thighs,
that is not typical neuropathy and needs evaluation. If you have open wounds or sores on your feet, particularly if you're living with diabetes, do not apply any oils until those areas are healed and cleared by your healthcare provider. And if your tingling is one-sided and accompanied by any neurological symptoms, vision changes, confusion, speech difficulties, call 911. That is a potential emergency. For the vast majority of people watching this video, your tingling feet are the result of peripheral neuropathy, poor circulation, postural nerve compression, or age-related changes in nerve conductivity, all of which can benefit from the approach I've shared today. But please, always keep your doctor informed and never use this video as a substitute for professional evaluation of a new or worsening symptom. This video is for educational purposes only. All right, let me bring it all together for you. Tonight, before you get into bed, you have 5 remarkable tools in your hand. Peppermint oil, to immediately calm those overactive nerve signals and bring fresh circulation to your feet. Frankincense oil, to fight the deep inflammation that's irritating and damaging your nerve fibers. Lavender oil, to normalize your sensitized nervous system and deepen your restorative sleep. Helichrysum oil, to support actual nerve regeneration and protect your nerve cells from oxidative damage. Eucalyptus oil, to open up your blood vessels and flood your feet and lower legs with the circulation they've been missing. Mix them together. Take 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, to give your feet the attention they deserve. Put on your socks. Go to sleep. And I want you to pay close attention to how your feet feel when you wake up tomorrow morning. You know what I love most about this approach? It costs almost nothing. It has virtually no side effects when done correctly. And it puts the power of healing back in your hands, right in your own bedroom, right tonight. If you found this video helpful, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up. It really does help this information reach more people who need it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And make sure you hit that notification bell, because we post new health information for you every single week. Drop a comment below. I read every single one. And tell me, which of these 5 oils are you going to try first? Or if you've already used any of these for nerve support, share your experience. Your comment might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Share this video with someone you love who's dealing with foot tingling or neuropathy. You might give them their first good night's sleep in months. I'm Dr. Alan Mandell. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Make your health your priority. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next video.